What's up everyone? As usual, Ani Shifter is back and will give the updates about Anime World. In this video, we will discuss about anime Boruto episode 218 entitled Partner. But before that, don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe so that Ani Shifter will continue to improve in providing info and updates. Let's get right into the video. In the previous episode entitled Decision, an epic battle was shown between the nobles of Otsutsuki against Naruto with the last mode he had, Baryon mode. As a result of Baryon mode's transformation, the battle that was only going in one direction where Naruto badly beaten by Isshiki, Naruto become able to give resistance to Isshiki. Even Sasuke judged that at that time Naruto's strength was at a level further than Ishiki's, and this fight was just a child's play for Naruto. Because Isshiki couldn't throw a single punch at Naruto, while Naruto easily beat Isshiki many times. Not only that, every hit by Naruto with Baryon mode will reduce the lifespan of anyone who got hit, no matter the attack given is strong or not. However, the price paid for this Baryon mode technique is quite large, where Naruto's chakra will be absorbed continuously every second of its use. As a result, both Naruto and Ishiki's condition became very weak, and they were already on the verge of death. However, in the last 5 minutes of Ishiki's life, an unexpected thing happened where Isshiki forced Kawaki to appear using a dimensional portal through a prosthetic arm connected to Naruto's chakra. Kawaki's appearance in this dimension is a misfortune that could bring all of Naruto's efforts to waste, or maybe it could be a key to victory for Naruto and the others. In this episode entitled Partner, it is told how Kawaki survives from Isshiki, who only has a few minutes left of his life. In any case, Kawaki must not be caught by Isshiki, because Isshiki wants to instill another karma seal into Kawaki's body so that he can live again using Kawaki's body. If Isshiki succeeds in instilling karma back into Kawaki's body, then the destruction of the shinobi world is certain to occur, because there is no power that can hold Isshiki with his full strength. Kawaki's appearance in that dimension gave Naruto goosebumps all over, because if Kawaki were here, then the efforts he had made using Baryon mode would fall apart. Kawaki himself still couldn't process what had happened, and was confused as to why he had been summoned to this unknown place. In the midst of his confusion, Isshiki smirked while saying welcome back to Kawaki. Finally, Kawaki realized that Isshiki was the reason behind this, so Kawaki felt a horror that he had never felt before. While in Konoha, everyone was confused by Kawaki's disappearance right before their eyes. Only Amato realized that this was Ishiki's doing, and said with a face full of despair, if karma was successfully implanted back into Kawaki's body, then the history of Shinobi world is over. Apart from Kawaki, who since childhood has spent almost all of his time with Jigen, in fact this is the first time Kawaki has seen Ishiki's true form. Sweat dripped from Kawaki's body, because he didn't expect Isshiki still be able to forcefully summon him, even though he didn't have karma anymore. Kawaki knows very well that Isshiki intends to instill a karma seal on him again, and therefore he will do whatever it takes to make Ishiki's plan to fail. Meanwhile, Isshiki feels that this battle is his victory, while saying that his current lifespan is less than 5 minutes. Isshiki didn't expect that the person he considered lowly like Naruto had managed to corner him like this. But all of that didn't matter to Isshiki, because victory was clearly in front of his eyes. While looking at Isshiki warily, Kawaki suddenly remembered Amato's words saying, even a monster can't avoid death, and it will be a victory for Shinobi world if Kawaki manages to avoid Isshiki until his life runs out. Despite his fear and horror towards Isshiki, Kawaki forced a smile while saying that he was honored to be able to witness Ishiki's death before his eyes. But Isshiki remained calm, not provoked by Kawaki's words, and replied by saying that his death was just like a short sleep, before finally he got back up by taking over Kawaki's body as his vessel. It was Naruto who felt provoked by Ishiki's words, so he shouted as loudly as possible by telling Kawaki to run away as far as possible. That's when Isshiki suddenly hit Naruto's stomach very hard, while telling Naruto to be quiet and watch the moment when he implanted the karma seal back into Kawaki. As a result of that hard blow, the effect of Baryon mode slowly disappeared, and Naruto in a limp state once again told Kawaki to run away immediately. Seeing Naruto, whom he respected so much, being beaten up by Isshiki like that, Kawaki felt great anger, but had no other choice but to run away as ordered by the Hokage. At that moment, Isshiki suddenly appeared right in front of Kawaki, who was running away, and gripped him tightly so he couldn't escape. When Isshiki told Kawaki that the karma cultivation process would end soon in a flash, luckily Sasuke with his Rinnegan was able to switch positions with Kawaki, so Kawaki managed to escape and get away. Isshiki surprised because at this moment what he holding was not Kawaki, but Sasuke, saying that they were very stubborn despite their imminent defeat. At that moment Sasuke shouted to Kawaki to take a bomb he had prepared earlier, and then threw it at his feet. Without thinking, Kawaki obeyed Sasuke's words, creating a thick fog that covered the area. Isshiki felt more and more toyed by them and then hit Sasuke's face really hard to vent his frustration. While Kawaki was running away stealthily, Isshiki activated his Byakugan, saying that the smokescreen wouldn't be able to trick him. But surprisingly Isshiki couldn't see what behind the smog at all. Whereas as we know, Byakugan has the ability to see anything like an X-ray. Sasuke in his heart muttered that the bomb was made with a special mineral that able to block the clairvoyant ability like Byakugan. Even if the effect only lasted a few minutes, at least that's what they needed, buying time until Isshiki's lifespan was up. Because Byakugan's abilities are ineffective here, Isshiki flies away leaving Sasuke, who has been lying helpless, to look for Kawaki's whereabouts from a height. But no matter how hard Isshiki tried, he couldn't find Kawaki anywhere because Kawaki kept hiding behind the smokescreen. Isshiki gritted his teeth, and then shouted Kawaki's name loudly, so that a huge aura could be seen enveloping Isshiki's body. Isshiki said that he would not let Kawaki escape, while Naruto in his heart said that if this continued then victory would be in their hands. Until in the end this made Isshiki use a method that would force Kawaki to come out of hiding. Isshiki slid towards Naruto very fast, and his foot landed on Naruto's stomach so hard, that Naruto vomited blood and the area around him was crushed by the impact. With Naruto seriously injured, apparently this also had an impact on Kawaki, where the prosthetic arm he was using suddenly forcibly removed, indicating that the Hokage's chakra was very depleted. Isshiki shouted very loudly and asked Kawaki to show himself in 20 seconds, or else he would kill the Hokage he loved so much by tearing his stomach. Kawaki immediately fell silent hearing Isshiki's words, especially the prosthetic arm he was wearing could no longer function due to Naruto's very thin chakra. In the first 10 seconds, Kawaki gripped the prosthetic arm tightly, remembering the tortured times with Jigen. No matter how hard Kawaki tried to escape and hide from Jigen, in the end he was always found and received severe punishment that tortured both physically and mentally. Kawaki certainly didn't want to go back to those days, but suddenly an inner conflict occurred in Kawaki's mind. In the last 10 seconds, Kawaki remembered the good times he had with Naruto, which had given him a reason to live. Whatever Kawaki did, Naruto always forgave and considered Kawaki as part of the Uzumaki family. Even Naruto accepted Kawaki's request to teach him ninjutsu, and wanted to make him his student, despite Naruto's busy life as Hokage. At that moment Kawaki suddenly realized that there was still something he could do, to show his prowess as a student of the Hokage. Right at the last count, Kawaki finally showed himself in front of Isshiki while holding the prosthetic arm that no longer functioning. Seeing this both Naruto and Sasuke felt very shocked, feeling that their efforts all along would be in vain. Meanwhile Isshiki showed a small smile, and then rushed towards Kawaki very quickly. Kawaki didn't just give up, he jumped off the cliff where he was standing, and then gave Isshiki a ninjutsu attack in the form of a fire release. This greatly surprised Naruto and Isshiki, because they knew Kawaki couldn't control chakra well, let alone use ninjutsu. But Isshiki was able to easily parry Kawaki's ninjutsu attack, and at that moment he managed to catch Kawaki by hugging him tightly. In this situation Isshiki insults Kawaki who wants to become a ninja by using ninjutsu, even though Kawaki's use is only as a vessel. Kawaki replied that the Hokage had voluntarily made him his student, and emphasized that he had skills in using ninjutsu. Not only that, Naruto had also taught Kawaki about the meaning of family that he had never felt before, and that was what gave him a reason to live. Kawaki then firmly said that in the world without the Hokage, it would be better if he died because the world had no meaning to him anymore. Without wanting to mince words because his lifespan was running out, Isshiki responded to Kawaki's words by tightly gripping his neck, and at that moment the Karma Seal was implanted. Naruto and Sasuke feel hopeless about this situation because Karma Seal has been successfully implanted, while Isshiki laughs with satisfaction because it doesn't matter if he dies now. Isshiki felt that this was his victory, while Kawaki just stood there without reacting. Isshiki's body is slowly being eroded, indicating that his lifespan will soon be over. When Isshiki praised Naruto and the others for pushing himself this far, surprisingly the Karma Seal that had been implanted suddenly faded and disappeared just like that. Isshiki was silent in confusion as if he couldn't believe what he was witnessing right in front of his eyes. Sweat dripped from Isshiki's body, and he frantically grabbed Kawaki's body while asking what Kawaki had done to make his karma disappear. But because Isshiki's body was already very fragile, The hand holding Kawaki's arm was suddenly break, and Isshiki then fell limply as if he could no longer support his weight. At that moment, another Kawaki appeared from the top of the cliff, making everyone who witnessed it feel very surprised, especially Isshiki. Kawaki, in a condescending tone, told Isshiki that all he had instilled in Karma was his shadow clone. With his lifespan running out, Isshiki couldn't scream anymore, and in his mind he kept thinking how he could be fooled by such a cheap trick. Naruto did not expect and was amazed at the strategy carried out by Kawaki, because as is known, Kawaki has never been able to use ninjutsu. Once again Kawaki insults Isshiki, who will soon die, and has been tricked by someone who Isshiki considers an empty vessel. Isshiki, whose body had been eroded to the point of being unable to move anymore, strongly criticized Isshiki, and at that moment Kawaki jumped off the cliff and smashed Ishiki's body into pieces, while bidding farewell to the Otsutsuki one last time. In this way, Isshiki can be confirmed as dead, and this life and death battle is a victory for Naruto and the others. After Isshiki died, relief appeared on all of their faces. The situation that they thought was normal because Isshiki had been defeated, a new problem appeared that was far more urgent than before. Naruto slowly began to lose consciousness, and Kawaki had thought that the Hokage was just exhausted from the fight against Isshiki. But even though the fight was over, Kawaki felt that Naruto's chakra still running low, until he realized something was wrong with the Hokage. Kawaki ran towards Naruto with high worry, and called his name many times to keep Naruto in his consciousness. Sasuke's concern about what he saw Naruto's changes earlier turned out to be true. From a strong technique, the price to be paid is also quite high. As we know, Baryon mode is very strong, so its strength can rival, even exceed the Otsutsuki. That's why Sasuke told Kawaki that Naruto might have traded his own life for a power that could surpass Isshiki. Kawaki seemed to be crying because he didn't want to imagine his life without the Hokage, and called his name louder. Naruto heard his name being called and tried to keep his eyes open. However, in reality Naruto couldn't hold back his very heavy drowsiness, until in the end his body collapsed due to not being able to withstand the drowsiness that seemed to pull his soul away. The worst scenario is that Naruto slowly losing his heartbeat like he was on the verge of death. After all, the side effects of Baryon mode were unavoidable. As soon as he fell unconscious, Naruto felt someone calling his name. Naruto slowly opened his eyes, and realized that he was in a place he didn't know about. Suddenly Kurama appeared behind him, and called Naruto to come closer to him. Naruto approached as Kurama asked with a feeling he couldn't describe in words. Silence fell between the two of them. Naruto just stared at his hands, while Kurama seemed to be waiting for Naruto to speak first. Remembering Kurama's words about the side effects of Baryon mode, Naruto opened his mouth and was about to say that their presence here meant that they were both dead. But before Naruto could say that, Kurama seemed to understand what was on Naruto's mind, and said first that he came here to say goodbye. At that time Naruto did not really understand the meaning of Kurama's words, and still kept thinking that at this time he and Kurama had died. Seeing Naruto being so quiet like this, Kurama was at a loss as to what to say. Kurama sighed, and then said that this might be the last conversation for the two of them, so Kurama wanted Naruto to talk before they parted. Naruto heard Kurama's words clearly, but he couldn't say a single word in this situation. Naruto seemed to be lost in his sadness, and didn't think that things would end like this. Until finally Naruto noticed Kurama's look, which no less sad than his, and then started to speak. Naruto said from the beginning where he was born, and Kurama was the reason behind his parents' death. But in the middle of the conversation, Naruto suddenly stopped because he realized that their time would not be long. Naruto shortened everything he wanted to say by saying that he and Kurama had gone through difficult times together, and Naruto was grateful that Kurama was always by his side, despite the misfortunes that occurred in his childhood. Basically Naruto just wanted to thank Kurama for living and accompanying him until now. Kurama had closed his eyes as if feeling sad but also annoyed, because Naruto only said a few words, not what he expected. Smiling in pain, Naruto thought that he was ready to face this situation, but when the time came, he had absolutely no idea what to do or say. While looking at Naruto, who looked lethargic, Kurama tried to encourage Naruto by saying that Baryon mode had worked, and thanks to that they were able to defeat the Otsutsuki. Kurama didn't want to just die without putting up any meaningful resistance, so dying like this wasn't so bad, that was what Kurama thought. While Naruto said that he always said he was ready to die, in reality it was just a lie to cheer himself. Naruto wasn't ready to die at all. He still has a lot to worry about, such as Boruto, Hinata, Himawari, Kawaki, and the village. Naruto was worried about what the future of his family and village would be without him. Kurama closed his eyes, and then said the unexpected. Naruto's worries are not his business. Naruto must be able to take care of everything himself, be it family, village, or enemies that will come in the future. Naruto turned to Kurama as if confused by Kurama's words. Normally, once a Jinchuriki dies, the tailed beasts inside their body die as well. But this is not the case for Naruto. The chakra of the tailed beast in Naruto's body, which means that Kurama's chakra will just disappear. Naruto still didn't understand the meaning of those words and looked at Kurama sharply. Kurama added that right now people would think Naruto was dead, but it was nothing more than a temporary state of shock. Naruto doesn't have to worry about the future of everything, because Naruto will soon wake up. Naruto was very surprised to hear Kurama's words, and asked him what he meant just now, as if he didn't want to believe what he was hearing. Kurama closed his eyes for a while as if holding back his sadness, and then opened his eyes by saying a shocking fact. The price paid for using Baryon mode is Kurama's life, not Naruto's. Naruto's eyes widened at these words, his whole body shivered violently, his mouth trembled not knowing what to say. Kurama closed his eyes again because he didn't want to see Naruto's sad face like this, and then said that he had never lied to Naruto at all. Because Kurama just never said that Naruto was the one who died from using Baryon mode. So much thing on Naruto's mind, but he couldn't put it into words. Naruto only said that Kurama had deliberately lied to him. Before Naruto continued his words, Kurama reasoned that if he said he was the one who died, then Naruto would hesitate to use Baryon mode. And worst of all, Naruto immediately rejected him outright even though it was the last hope for them, because that was Naruto's nature, which cared more about other people's lives than his own. As if he couldn't hold back his sadness anymore, Naruto looked at Kurama very deeply with a state of almost crying, to the point where Kurama told him not to look at himself with that gaze, because it would affect his emotions which had been suppressed for a long time. In this situation, Naruto and Kurama's thoughts seemed to merge, where their thoughts seemed to be connected to each other. Naruto saw the past that Kurama had experienced, as well as Kurama who seemed to see small pieces of their memories together. Starting from Kurama's great hatred for humans, and being the direct cause of the death of Naruto's parents, to their friendship where they both finally accepted each other after 16 years together. In a split second, the memories resurfaced very quickly, it was as if they were living within it. Meanwhile, Kawaki and Sasuke were still hopeful about Naruto's current state. Naruto was still unconscious, and his heartbeat getting weaker. In the midst of their worry, something unexpected happened. Suddenly a running Boruto appeared from behind them, and surprisingly stabbed Sasuke's Rinnegan with kunai. Sasuke felt pain that he had never imagined before, while Kawaki looked at Boruto whose body had been completely controlled by Momoshiki. Boruto says that he didn't expect Isshiki to be defeated by lowly beings like them, and he destroyed the Rinnegan so that there was no other way for them to escape from this dimension. This is the second time Momoshiki has taken over Boruto's body. All the wounds that Boruto had suffered before, such as his broken arm, were now completely healed, as a result of Otsutsuki's regeneration ability. Kawaki looked at Boruto ironically. He remembered his promise with Boruto that he would remove the cursed seal together, but what happened now was that Boruto was completely controlled by Momoshiki. The conclusion of this episode, entitled Partner, will focus on the story of Naruto and Kurama's relationship, which at first was like an enemy, then evolved into a friend who had accompanied him since birth, to become part of Uzumaki family itself. As a side effect of Baryon mode, Naruto and Kurama are in a state between life and death. But Kurama made a surprising statement, where the one who actually died from using Baryon mode was only Kurama, not Naruto. Naruto is currently only in a coma, as an effect temporary state of shock. While on the other hand, Sasuke lost his Rinnegan due to Momoshiki's act of controlling Boruto's body completely. With Sasuke's Rinnegan gone, that means there's no way back to Konoha for all of them, other than restoring Boruto's consciousness, and using his karma to create a portal that connects that dimension with Konoha. Meanwhile, in the next episode, a sad story about the final goodbye between Naruto and Kurama is shown. Kurama's body slowly dissipated into smoke, and Naruto returned to his senses, freed from his coma from using Baryon mode. On the other hand, Kawaki and Sasuke worked together to stop Momoshiki from taking over Boruto's body. In this fight, it will be shown for the first time where Kawaki considers Boruto as his brother, and asks Boruto not to lose to Momoshiki who controls his body. That's all for news updates from Ani Shifter. What do you think about this video? Give your opinion in the comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss updates about the anime world. Thanks for watching, see you next time.